Hi there, this is Bobby from Ragged Poet, and I think this is the first tarot tag I've ever done, apart from, I think I've done, I've done March of the Pips and Lena March and Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot, which I did this year. But this is the first kind of like answering questions, random kind of pop-up sort of one. So it's started by two of Owl's Tarot, and I'll link his channel below. And I'm doing it because it's short and quick, and I've really loved all the new people I've met through it, and including like two of Owl's and new channels I've discovered, and it's kind of like fun. So here we are. It's pretty atmospheric here. It's early morning on the top of the South Island of New Zealand, and we're just being hit by the remains of Cyclone Debbie. You might hear the wind howling through. It's pretty hard to keep the doors shut at the moment. Rain on the roof. If the noises are good, I might leave them in and not edit them out. So yeah, here we go. So the tarot tag is Tarot 6QA. That'll be in my information. And the first question is your preferred method of shuffling. Well, it's just this overhand. You get jumpers. What did I get actually? Oh my goodness. 10 of Swords. And the Magician. Oh well, we have the power to overcome everything. I use this method. This is my trimmed, beautiful baby. It's hard to see. Original Deviant Moon, which had borders, but I trimmed it and blacked the edges, and now it's a gorgeous little baby-sized deck. But the Deviant Moon's actually quite a long deck. I haven't got my borderless version here. I do have every version, apart from one I want to get, which is a shiny one that they printed. I think it was either the Italian or the Chinese one. So if anyone's got one of those they want to get rid of, let me know. It was one of the original decks, but it was highly glossy and not liked much, but I want it because I love them all. So yeah, I do that. Or that. And I've got tiny little hands, but I can mainly shuffle most decks that way. Very occasionally I do the riffle thing. These cards are a bit small. I'm not going to try and do it here because there's too many candles, too dangerous. But on the whole, I don't, because I'm not very good at it, but I would love to be able to do it. What's his name? Abyss of the Tiger, or Tiger's Abyss. And there's a few other people who do this amazing when they do the riffle and then the bridge, and they all come back together, and I really, really, really want to do that. But it must take lots of practice, and I've never really been a card player, so yeah, I'm not very good at that. Oh, and nobody here said, is it riffle or is it rifle? Well, I think it depends where you come from, but being a bit of a wordy person and a writer, I would say riffle because it's spelled R-I-F-F-L-E and rifle is spelled R-I-F-L-E. But say in England we say vitamin, in the States and New Zealand they say vitamin. So tomato, potato, riffling and rifling. But the other reason I don't like rifle is because I don't think guns have any place in tarot cards. So, but it does, it depends where you come from and how you pronounce things. And our family has huge amounts of strange words for things. I'm sure every family does. Sweet corn off the cob, not on the cob, but sweet corn is called dibblies. And corn on the cob is dibbly soldiers. Or no, dibbly lollies. So there you go. So that's the shuffling. Question 2, how many different people have you read for? 50 to 100, was it under 50? 100 to 200. I would say not in person. I've done a lot of readings online, and I've done quite a few in person, but I haven't read for done a couple of gigs, but I haven't read I mean, I don't read for people at the moment, like professionally. I'd love to, but I don't know, you don't get many people wanting to get read for in New Zealand. And everyone does it online, so they didn't see much point really. But I did do it, and I had really good feedback. So I would like to do it more. But I would say, whoops, sorry about that. I'm trying to adjust the light so you can see a bit better. Okay. Yeah, I'd say probably 100 to 200, including online people and the gigs I've done when I've done people in real life and friends and family. Not many really at all, considering I've been reading tarot for 25 years. So question 3, passion, hobby or profession? Passion. Total passion. Been a passion, as I said, for 25 years, and before that, I mean, before I really started reading properly, I was really passionate about tarot, and I'd wanted a deck for ages, and I'd had kind of partial decks, and I was quite itinerant, and I had a kind of bit of a crazy late teens, early 20s, and I never really settled. I lost decks, I lost things, I lost a lot of stuff. So I know I had the Morgan Greer, and I had an old Rider-Waite and an old Aquarian deck. I've still got a couple, but the first deck I got bought, it was by my mum. The first one I really remember thinking, right, I'm going to really do this, and that was when I think it was my 29th birthday. And that's when I really started to read it, which has covered another question now, which was question 6, which was my first time using tarot. So yeah, it's a passion. It's never been a profession in a tarot reading way, because I've never made much money out of it or been able to survive. But I do make tarot bags, which are a bit of a profession, I suppose. Custom tarot bags, which I sell to people all around the world, and I've been doing that for about 5 or 6 years. I've made a few hundred bags. They're custom made, and so that part of it, you could say, is a bit of a profession. But again, doesn't earn me a lot of money. Question 4: if you were to create your own tarot or oracle deck, what would it look like? What would it be like? Colours, themes, etc. Well, I've actually started a few decks. I am an artist. I'm actually a published artist and a published poet too. And have, over the years, I've started several decks. I started a photographic deck called the Tarot of Stones, and I lost all the photographs. They were on an old computer that crashed, and I haven't been able to. I did try to back some up, but I've never found those again. And it was when I first came to New Zealand, so that was about 12 years ago. And I was obsessed with river stones and rocks, and I took lots and lots of pictures of stones in different formations. So that was one. Then, I did do, in a challenge, I started making this oracle deck, run by, I think it was Otmar Oracle on Instagram, and I did a few cards for that, but then it got a bit hectic. I had my little blue, my grandson, and it got a bit crazy, but so I think this was like a symbol of love, and I did the card and I wrote on the back. So this one: love doesn't always have to be grand passion and romance in Paris. Real lasting love is in the simple things, the things we do for each other every day. For me, when someone makes me a cup of tea, I really feel the love. This to me is a perfect symbol of that true, real love. And then we had peace, which I think was that peace? Awake. Oh yeah, we had asleep and awake. So I did the lotus flower about awaken your inner spirituality. This one is the Fool. It was a spiral. And so what did I put? Sometimes diving in with a great passion, little thought can be a wonderful experience. It's okay to be impulsive on occasion, but the need to do more, to impress, to try too hard, to make your voice heard can have its shadow side. And like poor old Tom, it can lead to a fall and a harsh wake up to reality. Oh, that's what it was. It was the words to a song, and I used Tom Waits' Alice. I must have been insane to go skating on your name. I skated on it twice and fell through the ice of Alice. So that wasn't spiral. That was words to a song. And my antlers, my horns that I really want is the Wildling. My latent side is a wild thing, walking her own path through the mountains and forests, leading her folk to victory against all odds, defending what is right for the planet, brave, fearless one to be reckoned with. I'll need to wear these antlers more often, and also to be strong for myself and say no sometimes. I think that was the left side and right side. You meant to do a self-portrait, like the one side of you and the other. So that was my latent side. And the dominant side of my nature is the Peacekeeper. And that was an arrow. An arrow is a symbol of direction. It points the way to go. My personal arrows are rarely arrow-shaped, but more signs that I see around me every day. This arrow form is created within a flame to show that signs are all around us, but we must also be wary of taking note of signs that may be illusory. We not only have to see the sign, we have to feel it. That's why I made it like it could be an arrow, it could be something illusory, like pictures in clouds. And then we had a sleep and spiral, and a sleep was roots growing down and pulling together resources to feed. And then the spiral is a symbol of continuity, perfectly illustrated by the koru, which is the New Zealand fern. And each new koru unfurls, tiny new ones unfurl along it, all growing outwards, and they grow inwards at the same time. And to me, the koru symbolises an opportunity for new growth, inner spiritual growth, and outward worldly growth. So this is the start of one oracle deck, which probably would just be for that challenge. And then the other deck I want to make is going to be the Tarot of the Goat People. This was going to be one of the cards, or the artist, what do you call it? The artist card. So I'm kind of show you. It's actually a very shadowy picture anyway, because Gypsy's quite in shadow. These are my two goats, Moon, who I lost 2 weeks ago, and Gypsy, my boy, who I've still got. He's only 5 or 6. So this was going to be the artist card, and I still haven't worked out exactly how it's going to come about. But I really would like to make a Tarot of the Goat People. And one more I've considered is, because as I said, I'm a poet, I wrote poetry too, and an artist, a textile artist. I'd quite like to do a combination, like collage, textile art and poetry. It would probably be more of an oracle deck, because I don't like tarot decks that are forced into tarot. And I've actually got much more of an appreciation of that, since this is going to lead on to the next question beautifully. Question 5. Thoth, Rider-Waite-Smith, Tarot de Marseille, or Lenormand? Well, the other 4 of those are tarot and 1 isn't. So I like Lenormand, but it's very clean cut, and I have a lot of problems. You know, I'm so intuitive when I read, and I just have problems with divorcing myself from my intuition, which is something I have to do to read Lenormand. So although I love the decks and I love it, I find it very, very difficult to do. And the same with any of those systems, like the Kipper. I think that's similar to Lenormand and that. Thoth, the other 3, to be honest, I found since doing March of the Pips, which is what I was going to say before, that I always had this barrier against pip decks. But my intuition kind of seems to transcend all of that. I remember when I first picked up a Thoth, I thought it was this scary thing, and I didn't even like its energy, and I actually only like a couple of the cards. I'm not really a great fan of the artwork. I've got the Thoth deck. Looks better trimmed, in my opinion, but I'm not a fan of the artwork. I'm not really into anything organised or anything systematic, and I believe that tarot is a collection of stories. It is archetypes. I'm more of a Jungian than a Freudian. So none of that comes into it, but when I first picked up a Thoth and started reading with it, I did it intuitively, and it came out really, really well. And the person I was reading for was quite amazed that I'd never read with the Thoth before, and I've never read any of the books about it. Because it's just a collection of symbols. Like I said with these oracle cards, they're just symbols, and it transcends all those systems. But having said that, I have been reading for years with the Rider-Waite-Smith, but I've never really read with Tarot de Marseille or pip decks. This is the I keep showing this Triomphe della Luna in the little bag I made it, until I did March of the Pips. And I loved it. I just broke barriers, as I said in my last video. So I loved reading with the Tarot de Marseille. So the answer to that question is stay open-minded. You don't have to choose. Keep an open mind and never think you can't do something. And question 6, which was the first time using tarot, I've already answered. It was, I was about 15 or 16, and there were kind of lots of alternative people around me. It was in the late 60s. No, it wasn't, sorry. It was in the late 70s. I'm old, but I'm not that old. In the late 70s, and I was, mucking around with tarot and witchy things and stuff like that, but I can't actually remember when exactly. But I do remember my mum buying me a tarot deck, which is when I really started and didn't really stop after that, for my 29th birthday. That was the Tarot of the Cat People, and I still have it. So there we are. That's my responses, and on this atmospheric Wednesday morning in New Zealand, at the bottom of the world, we forged away for the rest of you over here. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for 2 of ours for starting this challenge, and thank you all. Bye bye.